Building a business is hard. Building a business that makes you happy, that delivers value to your customers at scale, that gives you the ability to pay great wages to your fantastic teammates, but is also differentiated in the marketplace so nobody can copy it and can survive. Only 10% of businesses survive over a decade. It is very hard. How can you maximize your chances of building this kind of business? By training your mind to think differently, by training your mind to think like a genius. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Leon, CEO and founder of Selfmastered, a peak performance training company that transforms entrepreneurs into elite performers that can achieve in one day what they previously achieved in 1 week. I've coached and trained hundreds of entrepreneurs and invested in 37 of them. So today's video is about training your mind to think like a genius. But first, let's define what is a genius. A genius is not someone who is very smart, who has a very high IQ or displays incredible intelligence. Of course, intelligence has to be involved, but genius goes beyond the fact of you being smart. It's all about creativity, it's about risk-taking, it's about being able to see reality with that perspective that no one else has. If you understand that Picasso, a painter, Einstein, a physicist, Leonardo da Vinci, a polymath, Tesla, and other physicists were all geniuses, you see why genius is not circumscribed to a specific profession, or it's not about only intelligence. It's about being able to drive incredible outcomes that no one else can. It's about pushing the boundaries of what people, society, the world thought was possible at that time. So genius is about accessing a new dimension. It's about going beyond what you think you're able to do. And how can you train your brain to give you the ability to access that secret dimension of yourself? So first, we're going to discuss what is the phenomenon behind a genius-like decision-making process, which is none other than intuition. We're going to define what are the 3 kinds of intuition, then what is the neurobiological reality behind intuition? So what's going on in your brain when you are accessing intuition? And finally, what is the best protocol that you can use in order to access this dimension, this intuition that's going to help you make decisions like a genius? So if you stay until the end, you're going to have a whole new way of looking at how your brain makes decisions. So first of all, why intuition? Well, if you look at all the top performers in history and life, all the geniuses, they have relied heavily on intuition. They have made choices that were against the common wisdom at the time. It can be more than geniuses like Elon Musk, or it can be Henry Ford, it can be Leonardo da Vinci. It doesn't really matter. The point being is doing what nobody else expected them to do. And that is only possible because they reach conclusions that others cannot reach on their own. In other words, they're thinking differently. And it's all about intuition. And intuition is a decision-making process that bypasses the rational thinking center. When you're able to reach a conclusion that is not entirely logical. When something shows up in your mind that is not the outcome of a logical thinking process, but still has value over the topic that is discussed. And there are essentially 3 types of intuition. The first and most discussed is expert pattern recognition, which is once you have done things 1,000 times, when you have 10,000 hours of practice on your craft, you start noticing patterns that are very subtle, but you can still leverage while others are still unaware of them. The best example would be Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett reads for 10 hours every day. He has hundreds of thousands of investment opportunities over the course of a year. It is constantly waiting to deploy capital in the most intelligent manner. But he only does 5 or 6 investments a year. So he is investing 0.0001% of the times that he has the ability to do. So what's going on here? He has trained his pattern recognition so much after looking at some hundreds of thousands of investments that he's come to this expert intuitive thinking that he uses to deploy his capital. And then he will rationalize as much as it is needed. But the first insight, the first spark he acknowledged is intuitive. Second type of intuition is implicit knowledge or creative intuition. It's when a genius is able to connect ideas from different fields. Einstein, he said that all of his theories were the free flow of imagination, and he was not constantly trying to make a new theory. It just popped into his mind after thinking about other things. Nikola Tesla also said that he came with this idea of alternative current by thinking about poetry. In other words, when you have idea sex between ideas that are not in the same category, you can spark intuitive conclusions, things that escape the rational decision-making process, and that is creative intuition. And finally, random intuition. And this is what some people equate with the universe giving you ideas, the universe sending you information. It is when you get random ideas in your head that make sense, that can be applied at that minute. And scientists cannot explain why does this happen, but some people like to think that the universe is, or God is talking to them. In any case, this is called random intuition. So these are the three kinds of intuition. So why does this happen? Well, intuition shows up when awareness is high, and awareness is high when your brainwaves are low. This is very important because the brain has four kind of major brainwaves: alpha, beta, delta, and theta. That goes from the highest beta, which is the normal waking brainwave, to theta, which most people can only access in their sleep. The lower the brain waves, the less volume of information is being processed by the rational part of the mind, by the prefrontal cortex. And therefore, that same energy, when you are with the lower brainwave, can be accessed by intuition. The lower the brainwave, the more the awareness, the better you're able to access intuition, which is, again, a non-rational thinking process. So the question here is, if we want to train our minds to think like a genius, we need to consciously make the effort of elevating our awareness. So now I'm going to share with you a protocol that I use to elevate my awareness every day. And over time, this has given me the ability to make good choices, even when I was under intense pressure. Now, before we dive deep, if you're seeing value from this video, remember to like, subscribe, and send it to a friend that you believe might benefit from this content. So this is a process I like to call the minimal viable reprogramming. And it's about training that awareness and give yourself room for intuition to show up. Nothing will happen if you do not give yourself the ability to make things happen. So how can you give yourself the ability to make things happen? First, unplug from the matrix. The more tuned in your digital devices you are, the harder it will be for you to lower your brainwaves, because technology has been designed to keep you addicted to it by giving you dopamine hits that you like, that your brain requires, and help you sustain high beta states. So the more you look at your phone, the more notifications come your way, the harder it's gonna be for you to elevate your awareness. So the first thing is to try to limit your phone usage as much as possible, ideally less than 30 minutes every day. 2, meditation. Meditation is crucial because it is like brushing your brain. You are making the conscious effort of emptying your mind from thoughts. Of course, unless you're a very experienced meditator, you will not be able to not have thoughts. But just the mere act of looking at your thoughts will already be elevating your awareness. The better you become at meditating, the lower your brain waves will be when you do it, and the better ideas you will start accessing. In fact, I recall Tom Bilyeu, fantastic guy, he said that his meditation is one of the most useful habits he has because the best ideas come to him while meditation. For him, meditation is thinkitation. Why? Because he is getting intuitive insights by lowering his brainwave. 3, take walks in nature. This is important because nature is a good way of washing away your techno stress. By helping you connect with nature, you will be able to reduce your stress level and enhance your awareness. I seek to always do 20 minutes every day of walking through a neighboring park here in Madrid. That gives me the ability to think things clearly. And finally, 4, scribble or journal or write. Just write for yourself. Carry a notepad and make notes. Every time you have an idea, make notes on it. And keep honing that ability of writing down your thoughts. Because if you start writing your thoughts and start seeing that those thoughts, some of them have huge value for your life, you're going to seek more of that. And you're going to start getting better intuitive insights. So this is the minimal viable protocol that I follow. One is about reducing the amount of phone usage by preventing my brain from being hijacked with dopamine hits. 2, meditating. This one is huge. 3, removing techno stress by taking walks in nature. And 4, scribbling or journaling or writing the things that pop up in my mind. If you do these 4 things consistently, which don't take much time any given day, you will over time train your brain to think like a genius, to start making idea sets between ideas from different categories. You'll start getting new thoughts that were not there before because you've paused and decided to listen. So if you want to be a genius, if you want to create the business of your dreams, you need to shut up and listen, because all the answers you seek are already within you. See you in the next video.